reached out to me today with a question, and I wanted to make this video with hopes of helping her and other people who have a loved one in prison. You see, Cheryl's brother is serving a 96-month sentence in federal prison. He's been incarcerated since 2017, and he has suffered a lot of challenges since he has been inside. He was attacked by other people and suffered a lot of problems as a result of that attack. I think she said that several bones in his face were broken. He did not receive any indication of what happened to the people who attacked him. All that happened is he got shipped off to another prison, and he is currently in Forest City, Arkansas, where he is in his third year of this sentence. He is waiting for participation into the residential drug abuse program, and based on the expectation that he receives the credit for participating in that program, he will have to serve a total of about 6 years on this 8-year sentence. I think that's about right. And you can pretty easily do the calculations by just saying it's a 96-month sentence minus 15%, which takes it down by about 14 months, about down to 82 months. Then you take a year off of that for the RDAP program. That takes it down to 70 months. And then on the 70 months, he's going to release to home confinement anywhere from 6 to 12 months, depending on program participation and disciplinary report status. And these are the facts. These are where things stand right now. Her question for me was what, if anything, she could do to help him come home at the soonest possible time. It's obvious that a family member wants their loved one to come home. The reality, as I experienced, is that if a person is in prison, he has to begin building a record that will make him a worthy candidate for relief when relief comes. Now, in other of the videos that are published here on the Prison Professors podcast, I have profiled people who started with a life sentence in federal prison, but they ended up serving only about 10 or 11 years. How did they do that? Well, I can tell you the secret. They had to learn how to advocate for themselves. They had to learn how to build a very powerful and strong record that would make them stand out when an opportunity opened for relief to come. Right now, there are more than 6,000 people who have been released from federal prison to home confinement for them to serve the remainder of their sentences. And some of those people, while I personally know people that I've interviewed that had 5-year sentences and they only served 1 year and they are now on home confinement. There are other people who are very worthy of being transferred to home confinement, but they did not get it. And that is a sad fact of our nation's criminal justice system. It's not always the worthy person who gets it. To use a cliche, it's sometimes the squeaky wheel who gets the grease. So what can you do to begin putting yourself in the position of being an individual that others want to help, that others want to get out? Or help advance the possibility of getting your loved one out or getting you out if you're going in? Well, I can only share with you the strategies that worked for me. But I have to be honest and in full transparency, I didn't get out 1 day sooner. I was sentenced to 45 years. I served 26 years. And those of you who don't have a familiarity with the system might say, well, how did you get out after 26 years if you had 45 years? Remember, I went into the prison system in 1987. There was a different sentencing law in place at that time. At that time, people in federal prison would receive more good time that is currently authorized. So I ended up, I ended up receiving, about 18 years, I guess, or 19 years of good times because I served 26 years. Then when I came home, I had 19 years plus 3, plus 5, or something like that, of various forms of supervised release to serve when I got home. But the decisions that I made inside of prison really helped me. They didn't get me out of jail 1 day early, but they did open much higher levels of liberty for me when I came home. They helped me prepare for a career. They helped me build my life after 26 years in prison. And that's what everybody should be thinking about when they're going in there. Too many people try to adjust to the prison environment and to the expectations of what others have for them inside of the prison environment. They may learn how to make tattoo guns, and they may learn how to use a shank, and they may learn how to be a shot caller. But none of those decisions will help a person advance prospects for a successful life upon release. At least that's my perception. Some people may disagree with me. If an individual wants to emerge from prison successfully, that individual should start building a record of self-advocacy. I can tell you the record that I started to build. It's really well documented throughout all of these videos, and I hate to repeat myself, but I pursued a 3-part strategy very early in the journey. Part 1, I wanted to focus on getting an education, documented credentials that would show I don't want to be a criminal anymore. That made all the difference. Number 2, I wanted to focus on building a strong support network, finding people who don't know me and that I don't know, and persuading those people to become advocates for me. I used to think of them as people that would be in my corner and help me get what I needed, the relief that I needed. And third, I needed to find ways that would allow me to contribute to society in meaningful, measurable ways. Now, I'm not saying that's the only strategy to make it through a very long prison sentence, but it is a strategy that will help an individual restore confidence and begin building a pathway to success, building a pathway toward a better life. And I would like to encourage Cheryl and anybody else who has a loved one in prison, or anyone else who is going into the prison system, to begin thinking about that right now. How can you start documenting a record that reflects your commitment to reconciling with society, that shows you are on a clear pathway to reaching your highest potential? It's about pursuing excellence. It's about saying, I am going to do everything within my power to build a better life, to reconcile, to make amends, to do something that shows I don't want to be a criminal. And the person that pursues that path becomes, he really differentiates himself from the herd. He becomes the squeaky wheel that gets the grease when those opportunities open. Now, I would really encourage you, Cheryl, to be thinking about how you could encourage your brother to pursue this path. Because right now, by the calculations that I understand, based on what you told me during our phone call, it sounds like he has 3 more years to serve. But what can he do to get those 3 years in the best possible way? Like maybe getting to a lower security facility. Or maybe he could be working toward building his career for when he comes home. What can he do to bring mentors into his life? And there are a lot of things that he can do, in my perspective. He could be using that quasi-email system to begin journaling. He could begin talking about what he has learned from this experience and what he is doing to make things right. He could be working, if he's got an education already, he could be working to teach others and documenting that story. He could be reading books and writing book reports to show what he has learned. He could be positioning himself for employment. There are just a never-ending series of tools that he could pursue. And what you could do, Cheryl, instead of hiring lawyers, you might be thinking about building a website for him, or so that he could start documenting his journey to success or his journey of success. You might consider building a YouTube channel for him where you are filming these types of videos that talk about what he is doing today, what he plans on doing in the next month, in the next quarter, in the next year. I'm creating a series of journals for 2021 to help people just like your brother Preston. And I hope that you are a subscriber to the Prison Professor's YouTube channel and also to the Prison Professor's website. In fact, I'm rebuilding it right now with hopes of helping family members of people who have loved ones in prison, or helping people who are going into the prison system really understand, what can I do to position myself for a better outcome? And some of these courses or books or programs will focus on what I have learned from other people who served time in prison. Some of them will reveal the strategies that worked for me. Some of them will reveal what I am learning from employers who may consider hiring somebody who's gone into the prison system. You see, the reality is we all have to live in the world as it exists. And right now, the world is not very friendly to people who have gone through the prison system. The world is not very friendly to formerly incarcerated people. The world is not very receptive to providing employment opportunities for people who have gone through the criminal justice system. So it's really important for individuals who are going inside to understand, to figure out a plan and define success in the best possible way, to create strategies that you can document to help tell your story, to create tools, tactics, and resources that will advance the ball, and to measure progress every single day. That's the strategy that empowered me through 9,500 days in prison. And it's what I think your family, or anybody who has a family member in prison, or anyone who is going into the prison system, should be learning. And that's the information we strive to provide at Prison Professor. So I do hope that you will subscribe to the Prison Professors program. And if you have comments, please leave them below, and I'll do my best to respond. And if you're so inclined, please visit our store at cbdtv.com. That's the revenue generator for us to keep these programs going every single day. I'm still here in Lexington, Kentucky. I'll be here until Friday, and then I'm off to another city where I'm continuing my advocacy work. But I'm doing the best that I can to produce a new video every day with hopes of helping people who want to learn more about the system or who want to get best possible outcomes. So please be a subscriber, please leave a comment, please share, and thank you so much for being a part of our community. I am Michael Santos, and again, I do hope that you're a subscriber. Thanks.